Hey guys, welcome to Musketeer episode 4. I'm Phantom's Yu-Gi-Oh! And today I'm going to be talking about how I turn the magical Musketeers archetype into a fusion-based strategy. Never thought I'd say that, never thought I'd hear it, but here we are. This deck goes insane. It uses new stuff from Battle of Chaos. It uses different archetypes that we have not seen before used with Musketeers. We're talking Despia, we're talking Shadal, we're talking emergency teleport package. We're taking everything we can do to spam summon fusion monsters and let it rip with this deck. So check out the deck profile, let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna show you the deck, I'm gonna discuss some of the options that I've decided to play, and then I'm gonna go through some replays just to give you a taste of what the deck can do. Make sure you stay tuned to the end, where I'm gonna talk about what I'm going to be doing for episode 5, which is something people have been requesting, so make sure you check that out. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this deck, what you think about this series, what you'd like to see, what you think I could improve. I'd be happy to do that for you guys. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you like the series, because the videos are going to keep coming. Let's get into this Magical Musketeers fusion deck. So what I do whenever I'm trying to figure out a new idea for Musketeers is look at pretty much any searching spell and see if it would work out. And I was picking up some stuff for Despia, and I came up with this little combo that really grew into this whole deck idea. So let's just check out the first combo, the most basic part of the deck.
Okay guys, so this is the base combo that I built this deck around. We have a 2-card combo here. The first card can be either Caspar or Starfire, it doesn't matter. The second card is going to be a Fright for Patchwork. So let's just assume we have Caspar for this hand. We're going to normal summon Caspar, activate Patchwork underneath, and what Patchwork does is search a copy of Polymerization and a Edge Imp monster. So we're going to be playing Edge Imp Chain. And then on the next chain, our Caspar is going to activate, searching us a Starfire. Okay, once that's done, we're going to go ahead and activate Polymerization using Caspar, Starfire, and Edge Imp Chain all as materials for a copy of Guardian Chimera, the new card from Battles of Chaos. Then Chimera is going to activate as Chainlink 1. Edge Imp Chain is going to activate as Chainlink 2, searching us another Fright for Patchwork. So we just get that to hand. And then Chimera will pop 1 card your opponent controls and draw 2 because we use 2 cards in hand as fusion materials. So we end on Chimera, a pop, and 3 cards in hand off of Caspar Patchwork. Now if we started with Starfire instead of Caspar, it would be a pop 2 and draw 1 because the third material would be on the field, unless we have an extra monster in hand that we can use instead for that extra draw.
Okay, so I just tried to implement that into my previous Musketeer ideas, and it just was really bricky. We were drawing like Edge Imp Chain without anything to do with it, and all that kind of stuff, so I decided we need to completely strip down the whole deck list that I started with, which had, you know, like Kid Brave, it had Calamity, it had the World Legacy stuff that I like to play as Link, the Link based one. So pretty much all that had to come out, because if you cut like your Musketeer spell traps and your Calamity, then Kid Brave is kind of dead because you don't have discard fodder enough. If you're not playing enough Musketeer monsters, like if we cut Kid Brave, Calamity is kind of dead because we're not going to ever have a Musket in grave by turn 1 or 3. So we just had to cut it down to the bare minimum to Starfire and Caspar because those are the best ones. I even cut down to just 1 spell trap, which was Crooked Crown. That eventually did come out, so we're just left with the pure basics. We're using Starfire and Caspar to search fusion materials to our hand or to our field, and that's it. And with that, we have a ton of space in our deck to completely base the deck around a fusion strategy. So we came first to the Despia package. Let's check that out right here.
The next mini engine I want to show you is the Despia parts. So we have 2 copies of Dramaturge, 3 copies of Tragedy, and 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. So as we saw from the first part of the deck idea, making Chimera, I thought, okay, I kind of want to expand the fusion part, so what if we can use Despia monsters in hand for the Chimera summon, or what if we can make stuff other than Chimera? So what we have here is the Allure with Tragedy combo. So Tragedy, when it's banished, searches a Despia monster, so we'll be searching Dramaturge, and then when Dramaturge is sent to grave or banished as fusion material, he summons himself to the field and is a negate. So pretty much we can use polymerization to make the Despia fusion monsters, because those require a Despia plus a light or dark, and then that means we can use the extra musket materials in hand or on the field to make the Despia fusion package. Also, Allure we can obviously activate under the Musketeer to really go plus. So in a sweet scenario where we have a Musket plus Allure and Tragedy, which is not that uncommon, we can go Musketeer, Allure, draw 2, whatever it is, banish Tragedy, and then that gets us a search of Dramaturge. So we have draw 2, Dramaturge, and the Caspar will then search something like Starfire. So we go +3 on that combo right there.
Okay, so now we have the Muskets, we have the Frightfur package, and then we have Despia, but we still had a lot of room and not enough fusion spells in our deck, so we had to add some more stuff. This is a going second deck because Guardian Chimera can only activate on turn 2 because you have to pop a card in order to draw. So you can't turn 1 Chimera to start drawing. If this is a going second deck, we're going to play some going second fusion cards, and nothing says that like Shadal fusion. So let's check out the Shadal package.
The third package I want to show you guys is the Shadal package. And of course, we're playing 3 Shadal fusion, and then I'm playing 3 Shadal targets, Wendy, Beast, and Dragon. These are just for more fusion spells, more power cards going second. This stuff really baits all the negates pretty much because it's insane if it goes off going second. So it's really strong. I'm also playing 1 Golden Lord for the light send target. And the reason is it really helps out in the grind game where we're going to have cards that search fusion spells or extra Shadal fusions in hand that aren't really going to help us because we're out of materials. So we can just set those and use it for a Golden Lord summon just for that 3500 body. That's really good at closing out games. Along with this, something I want to show, I guess another package, is we're playing 3 E-Telly, and we're going to be playing 3 Ghost Ogres as well. And I also want to note that E-Telly summons Wendy. Wendy is an E-Telly target, so if we only have polymerization, we can still go into our Shadal plays because teleports will bring out Wendy, and then we can fuse away Wendy for something like Construct to send Shadal fusion, and then we can link off the Construct to grab the Shadal fusion back to hand to continue our fusion plays going into something like Winda. So E-Telly is really strong for bringing out Wendy. It's really strong for bringing out Ghost Ogre just as an interruption. It's really strong for bringing out Ghost Ogre to go into Halka Fibrax. So it's just a very versatile engine that really helps out both the fusion part and the link part of the deck.
Okay, so we have the Muskets, we have the Despias, we have the Shadals, we have E-Tellys. Let's check out the full deck profile, rounded out with extra staples added in, with extra cards that help the strategy, and then we can check out the extra deck as well. Here we go.
Okay, let's go through the main deck monsters first. We're playing 3 Starfire and 3 Caspar, and these are our 6 normal summons of the deck, and I think that's a pretty solid ratio. 6 normal summons in a right now 44 card build. We're playing 2 Dramaturge and 3 Tragedy as the Despia part. This just lets us plus more off of fusion summoning, plus Tragedy works really well with Allure of Darkness, which we're playing. We're playing 3 copies of King of the Swamp. King of the Swamp is just to search polymerization, but it also lets us go into stuff like Albion. And then if you wanted to, you could play Mechaba or Dragoon in this deck and make it using King of the Swamp. So it really opens the deck up for options. Next, we're playing 2 Edgem Chain for the Frightfur package. We're playing 1 Shadal Dragon, 1 Shadal Beast, and 1 Shadal Wendy for the Shadal package. And rounding it out with the one A Lich the Golden Lord for the grind game for the Shaddoll Fusion light target dump. Okay, let's cover the hand traps really quick. I'll be playing 3 Ghost Ogre. These are just because it's good in the format right now, and we're playing Emergency Teleport. So it's an E-Tele target to let us go into Hulk if our fusion plays die out, or if we can extend further. We're also playing the 1 Veiler for Hulk Selene access code access. And then to round it out, I'm just going to show them now the 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. On to the spells, we're playing 3 copies of Fright for Patchwork. This is the best spell in the deck because it searches a fusion material and a poly. We're playing a full 3 copies of Polymerization. We just need to see this, and it's not infrequent where you use all 3 in a single turn. So I highly recommend playing the full 3 copies of Poly. Then we're playing 3 Allure just for digging power, just to clear out some dead darks in hand. If you have multiple copies of either Despia monster, you can allure it away. If you have an Edgem Chain in hand but no more Patchwork, or you already have a Patchwork, then we can just allure that away. Same with Shaddoll. So we have a lot of targets, and it procs a musket, so it's just good all around for digging. Next we're playing 3 Shaddoll Fusion for the going second power, and just for more ways to fuse away stuff in our hand, like the Despias to go plus there. We're playing 3 E-Tele. 3 E-Tele is for either Ghost Ogre to go into Hulk plays, or for Wendy, because Wendy is an E-Tele target, so that you can use Polymerization to make a Shaddoll monster without Shaddoll Fusion. And then the last 2 spells we're playing is 1 Foolish Burial, and then I'm playing 1 Forbidden Droplet because I only own 1. If you own 3, I would recommend playing 3. I would probably cut 1 Ghost Ogre for it, and something else as well. Okay, onto the extra deck, we're playing 1 copy of Max. That's all you need. We're playing a really low musket count. We're going to be fusing away our muskets more than linking them off. So just the 1 Max. You can up it to 2 if you wanted. I think it's okay, but definitely not necessary. Maybe if you're in a more grindy meta, then I would play 2, but just the 1 is probably fine. Playing 1 Dark, 1 Cross Sheep, and then Hulk, Selene, and Access Code. And those are the 6 Link monsters we're playing in the deck. This is all you need. You're going to be going into Hulk with Ghost Ogre off of Cross Sheep, off of E-Tele. You can Cross Sheep back Ghost Ogre to just have it as an interruption. Just let it sit there because Ghost Ogre can activate from the field. Dark is to summon back your opponent's DPE, or summon back a Darkling 2 to go straight into Access Code. So it's really strong, but you can play Lina if you think it's better. The remaining 9 monsters in the extra are all fusion monsters, and we're playing 2 copies of Guardian Chimera. This is the best card in the extra deck by far. If you can summon it and let it resolve, it's just insane. You draw 2, pop 1. It's untargetable if Polymerization is in your graveyard, which it will be. So it's just super strong. And it's 3,300, so it gets over a lot of stuff. For the Shaddolls, we're playing just 1 Construct 1 window right now. I think that's all you need, especially for a going second deck. We're not going to need to go into App Cologne to like search Schism or anything like that, so just having the 1 of each is solid. Next we're playing 2 copies of Despian Queritus. This is good at clearing boards. It reduces all monsters' attacks on the field to 0 except for the level 8 or higher fusion monsters, which is what most of your board will be. So it just clears out problem cards that can only be easily cleared by battle. So it's solid. Next we're playing 2 Masquerade the Blazing Dragon. This is our typical going first play, is just making 2 of these. And what it does is 600 burn per time your opponent activates a card or effect. So if you can set up 2 Masquerades, your opponent can only activate 6 effects before they're down to enough life where they can't activate anymore. So it's a really strong play. Plus it revives itself. It's quick effect revive to your field. So for example, if you can set up Cross Sheep, you can activate Masquerade to summon under a Cross Sheep zone, and then Cross Sheep will activate summoning back something like Ghost Ogre or whatever if it's on your opponent's turn. or if it's on your turn, you can just summon back another monster and go into access code pretty easily. The last card I'm playing is kind of a tech. This is the most flexible one, but it's one Albion the Branded Dragon. You can make this with a King of the Swamp plus a light monster, so probably a Musket. And then once it's summoned, you can fusion summon by banishing materials from your graveyard. So typically that's going to be a Despia monster plus a Musket monster, and that can make either Quertus or Masquerade. And if you banish the Dramaturge, you can summon the Dramaturge back as well because it's used as fusion material. Or you can summon a Construct or a Winda if you have a Shadal Engrave. It's just pretty versatile. Another thing you can do, but I'm not running, is make Dragoon by banishing Albion itself plus the King of the Swamp in your graveyard, because Albion is a Dark Dragon. King of the Swamp represents Dark Magician, and that makes Dragoon there. You can also make Invoked Mechaba if you want to play that by just banishing the King of the Swamp and a Musket out of your graveyard, because that's a light and Alistair. So you have a lot of options, but I don't think any of those very niche options are worth an extra spot in this extra deck. I'd rather play the two of each, Quertus, Masquerade, and Chimera. But it's up to you. There's a lot of flexibility here. You can play a second Winda. You can play any of those techs. You can play Millenniumizer Strict as well. Yeah, there's a lot of options, but it's up to you. This is what I've decided to play for now.
Okay guys, let's jump into a couple replays just so you can see a little bit of what the deck can do. We're playing this first game against Dark Magicians. And they start off with just some random stuff. But our hand, we have 2 King of the Swamp plus Fright for Patchwork, so we have as much access to Polymerization as we need. So we're going to need at least 2 of those, because we're going to be able to use Tragedy to search Dramaturge, and then we're going to want to summon the Dramaturge. So they end here on Dark. To be honest, I don't know what a lot of these things do. This thing summons back a Dark Magician. But anyways, we're going to try to play through it. We start off with the Patchwork to search Chain and Poly. And then we go ahead and activate Poly here, because we want to we want to search Dramaturge. So we're going to use Tragedy, probably. Yes, Tragedy and Edgem Chain here for Quertus. And then Tragedy and Edgem Chain are both going to activate to search another Patchwork and a Dramaturge. Now we're going to pitch King of the Swamp for another Poly. And we're going to activate E-Telly here to get into our Shadal package and to get another monster on the field, because we want to go into Guardian Chimera here without using this Quertus on the field. So we want to summon something else. We're going to go Poly for Guardian Chimera. Ditching, we got Wendy, Dramaturge, and King of the Swamp. And then Wendy and Dramaturge are both going to activate, as well as Guardian Chimera, and that's chain blocked Guardian Chimera. We're going to set Beast here. Summon Dramaturge, and Chimera's going to draw 2. We're going to draw into our first Musket card, and there's our normal summon. Go ahead and normal summon Starfire. Link into max, and then summon 1. So we have 6 monsters on board here, 3 in hand, which is absolutely insane. And then we go battle phase and start swinging, and then he does stuff. He searches this like Magic Haribo card, which blocks a whole bunch of our damage. So we're not able to win here because we have stuff get popped. He's gonna pop with Magical Dimension. Like, what year is it? But anyways, we swing here, and yeah, he ends with Illusion and this battle blocking card again. And he is able to go off. We don't have many negations. We have a Dramaturge, which negates a extra deck monster, or when an extra deck monster is summoned, he can negate. And then we have Quertus to reduce an attack to 0. So let's see what happens here. He uses Dark Magical Circle to banish the Dramaturge, and then we reduce the Dark Magician's attack to 0 so he can't swing over anything. And now it's our turn again. We go ahead and Patchwork under the cast bar to get the search, but he negates the Patchwork with this thing. But that's okay, because cast bar will still get a search. We flip Beast. We can draw 2, discard 1, discard the extra allure. We go into another max. This build was playing 2 max, so it's not bad, and it came up well in this more grindy matchup. But anyways, we're gonna be able to summon 2 more muskets here, and then link into, this was a build with more link presence, so that's definitely an option. And then we have access code here gaining, and then we can just swing over, or we pop the Dark Magician Girl and swing for game, and that's about it. Okay, the next one is against Floowandereeze, so let's go ahead and swap here. They go Jack in the hand, adding something, and we get a Robina, which is awesome because we're playing Guardian Chimera, and we can just use this as material for free. We'll fast forward here to the end of their board. Okay, so their board is M-Pen, Field Spell, this thing which lets them tribute one of our monsters, and then I know they've searched this card, which lets them normal summon on my turn. So what we want to do is figure out a way to make Guardian Chimera and start popping stuff without using our normal summon, and that's where we're gonna have to fusion summon to get our on-field material. So they go ahead and Ash the Patchwork. We're gonna allure with Tragedy, which is awesome because that searches Despia plus a draw 2, and we luckily draw into E-Telly, so that's our way to get something on board without normal summon. We E-Telly into Wendy to get into our Shadal package. We can search Poly with King of the Swamp, and then we poly away 3, including their Robina, the Dramaturge, and the Wendy for Guardian Chimera. And we have to make sure we summon this in defense because M-Pen will negate it if it's in attack. So we have Chimera go off, and then 2 other chain links. Summoning Dramaturge, summoning Beast face down, and Chimera will pop, and I popped this thing. It's probably not the right call, but I really didn't want them to be able to tribute summon. If they had a big monster in hand, I didn't want them to be able to use one of my monsters. Now I go ahead and normal summon the Caspar, which I drew off of Chimera, and they're going to be able to activate Field Spell, and then they normal summon the Robina, and I have the Chalice ready, except his time ran out, so that was it. But pretty much this replay kind of shows that we can start breaking boards without being hindered by stuff like this where we can't normal summon. And yeah, we were in pretty good position. We also had Shadal Fusion ready to go to fuse away Beast and like Hedgehog, or Beast and Caspar, so we could make Construct there. So yep, that was the second replay. It was a little short, but you can kind of get an idea of what the deck is doing. Let's try this one against Sky Striker Mr. Rune. This one's going to be kind of short as well, but he opens kind of like meh. He goes into Shizuku and then activates this Mr. Rune Field Spell, which lets him activate Mr. Rune quick plays on my turn, and then he gets to draw for however many are in his grave, so we don't want him to be using this Field Spell. We go ahead and resolve Shadal Fusion for Construct, and then what I did here was normal summon Edgem Chain and linked away Edgem Chain and Construct for Cross Sheep, and that lets me use Edgem Chain effect to search Patchwork, which lets me search Poly because we needed to get into Poly to continue our plays here. I activate E-Telly and Patchwork because I'm going to want to go into Guardian Chimera here, and we don't want to use Cross Sheep if we can help it as the field material because we want to summon Chimera to here and then use Cross Sheep later. So we search the Poly Edgem Chain, we poly away the Ghost Ogre, Tragedy, and Edgem Chain, so that's going to be, there's going to be 4 chain links here at least. We're going to have Chimera, Tragedy, Chain, and Cross Sheep. Oh no, Chain already activated this turn, so that won't be on the chain link, but yeah, let's see what happens here. He activates this thing to destroy Cross Sheep, and then this thing to negate Cross Sheep. So yeah, we get Dramaturge to hand, we draw 2, we pop 1, and I pop the field spell, which lets him not draw from the 2 Mr. Rune cards, and he just scoops there because I'm going to swing over Shizuku. He does not have Ray Engrave, and this linkage thing is going to do nothing. So, yeah, that was it. We still have a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to be able to dump King of the Swamp for a Poly away the Despia stuff, summon Dramaturge. This is going to be an OTK. We can also allure for more cards, draw into a Musket probably. Yeah, so that's that replay, and then we'll do one more. This is against Mech Knight Invoked. They made us go first, so we're gonna try going first game. We open Allure Tragedy under a Musket, which is absolutely nuts because that's a draw 2 plus a Dramaturge search plus a Caspar search. So we're in business here. We discard King of the Swamp to search a Poly. We Poly away Caspar and the other King of the Swamp for Albion, and then Albion effect activates. We banish Caspar and Dramaturge from hand to summon Masquerade, and Dramaturge, because it's banished as fusion material, will summon back, and we set the E-Tully, which will let us summon Ghost Ogre for another interruption. So we have Dramaturge, which is a negate, we have this for burn, and we have E-Tully for Ghost Ogre. He starts off with these kind of plays. I activate E-Tully now just to get it out of this column to make him set another card if he wants to do Mech Knight stuff. He makes Alistair Link, so this is an interesting strategy. I burn Dramaturge here because I'm not going to be able to use Dramaturge on a fusion monster because of Meltdown, so I have to use it on a Link. He summons blue for no effect, luckily, and he makes another Alistair Link, which I did not see coming, but that's fine. He goes into Mechaba, searches more invocation effect. He's just burning himself down too. He makes Mechaba big so he can attack over Masquerade, and another Mechaba here. So he swings for 1,000, kills the Masquerade, and then swings over the Ogre. And now it's our turn. We go ahead and now we can do Musket plays. We normal summon Starfire, have E-Tully underneath for some big pluses here. That gets us 5 cards on board, and now we can go into Dark to summon back his Alistair Link, but he negates with Mechaba, and I chain Ghost Ogre just to clear one of the Mechabas. But that's fine. We go into Max, and we can summon from the Meltdown. Masquerade can summon himself back, and he scoops there. So that was just an example of how the deck does stuff going first. Masquerade is insane. A lot of decks don't really pay attention to how many effects they can activate, or they activate to get into their plays, so Masquerade just burns and burns, and just having the one negate and Dramaturge is also awesome. Alright guys, I just want to have a quick discussion on some of the cards that I've chosen not to play, but I did consider. The first one is Fallen of Albaz. There's really no good way to incorporate this. You really want to normal summon Albaz in an Albaz deck, and we just want to save our normal summons for the Musket cards. I considered playing something like Fusion Conscription to search this, to be able to go into Albion more frequently, and I didn't really get it to work out, but it's got potential. So if you guys can make that work, that'd be awesome, because I really want to play Albaz. It just seemed like it bricked a bit much. The next card is Mind Control. You can use Mind Control to take an opponent's monster to fuse away for anything but Guardian Chimera specifically, because it's not, it's just generic materials needed. So you can play Mind Control, take a problem card, and then fuse it away for Chimera. And it's good, but it's just a brick going first, and this deck already has a little bit weak going first, so I just wanted to minimize any of that kind of stuff. The next card is Super Poly. Okay, so Super Poly requires pretty much, it's going to require a Shadal or a Despia card on field for you, plus a lighter dark your opponent has. And we usually don't start our turns by normal summoning a Despia or setting one, or normal summoning or setting a Shadal. We want to save that normal summon set for a Musket card. And with that being said, in order for you to get a Despia or Shadal on field, usually requires your plays to start going off already before the super poly will become live, and at that point it's just a little bit of a brick. So it's a decent side deck option, but I don't think it's worth main decking right now, just because of how the deck operates. You know, it's great in Despia because you're gonna be normal summoning Aliber, and you know, you can fuse Aliber plus a lighter dark, whatever. But here you're normal summoning like Starfire or Caspar, and Super Poly is pretty dead, so that's why I'm not playing it. Schism, I'm not playing because we're going second deck, and even if we were going first, there's no consistent way to dump Schism and search it back because we're not playing Dogmatica Maximus or Apcalone. And in order to actually get this on your turn 1, requires you to draw into a Shadal card and a way to fuse it away for Construct. So that's, you know, pretty specific scenario. Plus it's a brick. We don't want to add any more bricks to this deck, so I don't think it's worth playing. Then the last 3 cards I have are down here in the extra deck. I have a Mechaba, Dragoon, and Millenniumize. These are the 3 primary targets you can add into your deck to make off of Albion on the off chance that you make it. And again, to make Albion you need King of the Swamp plus a Polymerization, because King of the Swamp takes the place of Fallen of Albaz. And then with Albion you can make any of these 3 things using banishing King of the Swamp and banishing something else. For the Dragoon, you're going to banish Albion himself with King, and then for these other 2, Mechaba and Millenniumize, you're going to banish the King of the Swamp plus plus like a Musketeer usually. So these are options you can play. I've decided instead to play 2 copies of 3 different fusion monsters, just because that's far more frequent to go into and more consistent, and I found myself needing to go into those a second time far more often than going into any of these with that utility. So yep, that's why I'm not playing these cards. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this profile. I had a blast recording it. I had a blast testing this deck out and building it, and I'm going to be playing it going forward. I played it this past locals on Sunday. I played against Sword Soul. I 2-0'd. I played against Pendulum Magician. I 2-0'd there as well. And then I played against Trap Eldritch, which I did lose, but it still performed super well. Guardian Chimera super overperformed. When I went to locals, I only had 1 Guardian Chimera, but I picked a second one up for this deck because I found myself needing a second one pretty often, so I thought it was worth it. I recommend picking those up now. And then for the next episode of Musketeer, I'm going to be online testing Musketeer Mr. Rune. So that's the new archetype coming out. It's a spell-based archetype which mills your opponent's deck. So we're gonna see how that works out. I already have some good ideas for how I would build that. It's gonna be a very grindy version of Musketeer, so I'm probably going to be playing stuff like Doc for the first time in this series. So I'm really excited to give those a try. I know a few people have been asking me for that, so stay tuned for episode 5 coming, I don't know, in a few weeks probably. Let me know what you think about this deck. Leave a comment about it, like and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the series, and thanks a bunch to you guys for watching this. Yep, have a good one guys, we'll see you in the next episode.